Welcome to the Pink Hard Hat Podcast, your go-to source for all things business, feminine leadership, and work-life balance. Your host, Tamara Chase, roofing contractor, CEO of Chase Roofing, entrepreneur queen, and part-time mermaid is here to help build your business owner's toolkit. So put on your pink hard hat and let's dive in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pink Hard Hat Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Wolf, joined by, of course, your host, Tamara Chase. Tamara, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Jeremy.
And we have a very special guest today. We're going to...
The same thing as this, that's the only...
something similar to what we did last time, kind of introduce our guest here. We have Catherine Freeman. She is the Senior Business Coach and Director of Operations at the Nolan Consulting Group. And having started with the organization in the Summit Call Center in May of 2012. Now, Catherine came to Nolan Consulting after about 20 years in retail management.
Yep, that's right.
Most recently with Borders. And she's worked in big box environments, independently owned stores, managing fiscally and community-minded organizations. And she has led business teams to surpass their financial and personal goals. She is a Florida transplant, having moved to the Delaware Valley to attend Bryn Mawr College. I pronounced that correctly.
Bryn Mawr.
There we go.
Bryn Mawr
and
College.
Since made the area her home, she lives in Havertown, Pennsylvania. I hope I got that right.
Havertown. I know it's the whole location thing up here is really messed up.
All right. Well, we're glad to have her on the show today. And Tamara is going to get into it with Catherine and find out all about what you do and how you help various organizations. So with that, I am going to step off the stage here and let you get into it. Okay.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Thank you, Jeremy. How exciting to see you. I have to do my hand clap again. I know it's so I need to actually get one of those. That's awesome. I should get one of those. Yes, I see you have a very magical pink hard hat sitting behind you. I do actually. So I needed to make sure that we could see that, because when I visited last year, I looked at your wall and I was like, I gotta get one of those. I gotta have me one of those. Yeah. I hope it gives you as much inspiration as it gives me. It sure does. 100%. So, Catherine, thank you so much for being on the show with me. I have been, you've been my coach for a very long time. We were just asking how long. So I've been with Nolan 8.5 years, and you've been with me for the last several. And, yes. I clearly get a lot out of the coaching and your program that you are a part of with Nolan. And I sort of wanted to showcase the benefits of really being involved with a coach, and the accountability and the camaraderie and the support you get from it, and have you on here. So thank you for coming on. Well, we're so grateful. I think you mentioned that we've worked together for a long time, and yeah, we've worked together. So you were with the consulting group for 8.5 years, but we've been together for probably about 5.5 of those. Yeah. And, there's something about the magic of my job. The magic of my job is that we come in and we're not a consultant that comes in, does a project and leaves. We stay and we form these very strong bonds with the people that we work with. And, I think of myself as so lucky because I have a job where I get to work with people who are amazing. You are amazing. It makes me better to get to work with you. This is a two-way street, in my opinion. I thank you very much. I appreciate that little plug. So let's get into today's conversation. I have lots of questions for you, and wanted to start off with who do you serve, and how do you serve them? So our primary customer is typically a small business in the trades. We really feel like it's a niche group. We've tried to work with other businesses, and we have worked with other businesses successfully in the past, but we speak contractors' language. We know the struggles that you are experiencing. And so we want to work with business owners that are in the trade. So we help them to get out of the hourglass, get unstuck. You know, many businesses, yourself included, come to us with this: I am in charge of everything. Everything runs through me and I can't possibly do it all. What do I do? So we help business owners get out of the hourglass. We also happen to work with management teams. We do some management team training these days. We do field training. We do sales training. So it's not just a business owner that we're working with, but we try to go deep and make sure that we are helping an entirety of a business. Most of what we do is through the financial lens. I mean, we just had one of our numbers calls yesterday, and we're looking at a financial performance result. We're asking questions. We're making sure that we hear the answers of the people who are on the call. We want to understand the why, not just the what. So we're understanding through a financial lens, and so we meet with a business once a month on results and goals. Right? That's the accountability part, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes. I know I've been a part of not only actually I've been a part of all your levels of training, including some of the field trainings I've attended. So I do love those, and I think that the way the coaches speak to them on such a level, no matter what type of training, I feel like they're speaking to the type of person and where the person that's attending is coming from too. So I always thought that was really good. I felt it was very, you can tell the guys feel, and girls feel heard. They feel heard and understood, not like talking down to, but they feel like, oh wow, he's been in the field before. He knows what it's like.
Right. And we want that. We want, numbers tell a story, and we want everybody to hear the story. We want everybody to hear all of the things that we're working on. We know that the sales training that we're doing is going to make you a better salesperson. And if we need to adjust how we're talking about it, if we need to take a minute and stop and listen to the questions that you're asking because we're not communicating it well, we do that, because the result is we want all of the businesses to get better. You got to get better. You want to grow. You want to get better at what you do.
Yes. Grow or die, right?
Right.
Exactly. So you talked a little bit about the types of coaching you guys offer and stuff. Like, how can you go into a little bit more about the uses of coaching, how we use it in team building, business successes, work-life balance? Like, what is your take on that?
Well, gosh, I think you mentioned work-life balance there, and I know that that's part of what you're looking to achieve. And my approach to coaching in general, and what we all look at, is how can we get information into the hands of the people that we're speaking with to make sure that they can do their jobs effectively, go home at the end of the day well, right? You don't want to live your job 24 hours a day. And so how can you work through something so that you can close your computer up, turn your phone off, and make sure that you are, good with that decision. So we're doing one-on-one coaching. Like we might be having one-on-one conversations about a challenge that you might be having in the business, or if there's a process that you need to work through. As I mentioned before, we do training, and right now we do a lot of virtual stuff. So it doesn't matter where you are in the country. If you have a salesperson who needs to get some basics just refreshed, we've got trainings that somebody can work on. Most of what we do, we want to do with an accountability goal in mind. So if you say to me, you've got a salesperson who you want to put through the sales training, we want to tie that into, okay, what are we looking to accomplish? Do we need to get somebody's win ratio up? Do we need to get their average size job up? Do we need to work on a next step agreement with them? So, the information that we're sharing is not just about the content, but then also what's the so what? What are we doing with it? How are you using this information to be better at your job? To feel like, if I use the sales example again, to feel like you can be a salesperson, be a really good seller, have time to do all of the things that are involved in the sales process, but also protect dinner time with your family. Or you want to go to a soccer game and you want to go to that soccer game without feeling like if I go to this soccer game, I'm going to miss a sales opportunity. I'm going to miss my quota. That's not what we're looking for, is it?
No. No.
Soccer's awesome, right?
Soccer's awesome. All the soccer moms out there.
Yeah, right.
Agree with you. Yeah, there's definitely a balance of being able to be at peace when you're at home and enjoying that entire part of your life.
Yeah.
And when the numbers aren't right and you're not doing well with different departments, it can weigh on you.
It can. And I think, the other challenges, as entrepreneurs, you have so many ideas, right? You're driving down the highway and you have an idea, or you're sitting at lunch with somebody and you have an idea. In a lot of cases, you're thinking about that idea and it just kind of goes away. Part of what we also want to be focusing on is capturing those ideas. We want to capture those ideas. Are they big rocks for the business? Is it an item that you want to work on right now? Or do we want to just write it down somewhere so that next quarter or next year, that can be something that you focus on? So now, instead of that, these things are just swirling around my head and I got so much to do, we want to provide a place to write it down and have an accountability conversation so that as a business owner or leader, you can feel really confident that that great idea that you had is written down somewhere. Now, you may choose to say, you know what, after a couple months of thinking about it, that's actually not what we want to do. That's not our core. That's not our niche. But we're going to make sure that we ask the question again.
Yeah. I don't know about everyone else, but I live by my calendar, and this concept that you're talking about frees up all of the space that I want to use when I'm working on my calendar to not have the extra outside things going on over here. I had this great idea, and it's like a system of capturing it and knowing you're going to talk about it. It's not going to go away. Your next third quarter of next year is when we're going to talk about this. And
absolutely. I think when I think about entrepreneurs and their approach to time, what many entrepreneurs love is the freedom to, you're independent. You've got the freedom to make decisions. You can do what needs to get done. You're sort of, you're quick on your feet. You're agile. And so when we talk about calendaring, when we talk about getting commitments written down, having meetings, so many times business owners are reluctant or resistant to do that because it feels like we're putting them in a box. But like you said, your ability to do that gives you the freedom to think and create and vision and get stuff done and also attend to your business. Right?
Yes.
I love that arm.
Yes, I love it too. Thank you for that little break there. We're having a little technical difficulties.
Sure. This is the magic of editing,
goodness.
Right?
It is. Okay, so let's get into goal setting and action plans. That's a huge piece of what we do. I know that we meet monthly to look at the numbers through a financial aspect, to see where we came in, to see if we hit our targets or where we need to adjust. And that's been one of the biggest improvements in our involvement is you can catch things before you get to the quarter and you can't undo it or adjust and pivot. So tell me about goal setting and action plans as relates to all of this.
So, wow, right? That it feels like a big topic, accountability, goal setting, like, gosh, I got to do that. But yes, you do. And it actually isn't nearly as complicated as you might think. The The real work of the work is sitting together as a management team or yourself with a coach and really putting some thought into what it is that you want to accomplish over the next year or 2 or 3 years. From there, you want to create a plan to make those things happen. You know, you wanted to be the biggest roofing contractor in Florida. You made a plan to make that happen. You created an action plan around it. Okay, these are the things that we're going to do along the way in order to make those things happen. There's a lot of joy and fulfillment in that, isn't there? You know, saying, okay, a couple years ago, I want that.
Yes.
And then you just step back and make it happen. Make it happen.
And then,
like
have the accountability to not forget what you want.
Exactly.
Get distracted.
And your accountability partner, I mean, that's what we do as coaches. We're accountability partners, but your accountability partners can also be the people who are on your team. There's a lot of power in saying to the people on your team, hey, listen, this is where I'm going. This is what I want to achieve. Help me to make it happen. And then you rely on the people around you to come up with ideas that are going to support that. But the accountability and goal piece, I mean, listen, if you're a contractor in the Midwest, maybe you don't have dreams of world dominion. Maybe what you want to do is, be a solid business owner and keep your people employed. Maybe you want to provide health benefits and you're not doing that right now. Or maybe you want to give raises every year and you're not doing that right now. Like, what you really want to do is just write that down and then back it into a plan. So if you want to achieve something, the best way to motivate yourself to do it is to get it written down, break it into some parts. So you've got 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps. Make sure that when you're looking at those steps, you're saying, am I the right person to do that? Or actually, do I have somebody in my office who could do that better? Now I'm going to give that project to them. And I'm going to say, okay, I need you to work on this project and get it done in the next 4 weeks. And then you wrap back around and you say, how you doing? You doing okay with that project? You need some help? Do you have the right tools? It's not magic. It's necessary.
Yes. It's necessary and freeing. So at first I thought all these rules I thought the structure of it would feel like there's too much I need to do. And what I found was the structure gave me freedom to do what I needed to do.
Yep.
And what I wanted to do, and not working 24 hours a day, be able to take a vacation.
Be able to take a vacation. Yeah, right. I mean, Tamara, think back to the first time that you did that. Think back to the first time that you not only took a vacation, but you took a vacation and you didn't answer all of your email and all of the phone calls and all of the because really, right now you could say you're going on a vacation and take your phone and your laptop and be connected for 4 hours a day. And think about the time that you first could disconnect. Wasn't that just amazing?
Yes. Magical. And
mermaid magic.
Mermaid magic. My husband's happy for it too.
Oh, I bet. Right. And think about that. Think about that. The impact that you, first of all, as a mom, as a wife, as a partner in a marriage, you have this other creation that you're working on. Your business is this other creation. It's almost a child in some ways, right? You want to nurture it and you want to give it all the attention that you can. And then you end up giving, the shaft to your family, and you don't want that. You really don't want that. So, yeah.
Love it. Okay, so the next question I'm going to ask you is about resources. And I know you guys have been a huge resource for us. Tell us more about how important it is to lean in on the resources and tools and advantages we have around us with the people and the coaches and our friends and our network. Tell me about the importance of leaning in on all those resources.
Right, absolutely. So, you know, I talked about us as a Nolan Consulting Group. I didn't mention the Summit Peer Group Network, right? So that's actually a lot of what business owners are coming to us and wanting. I mean, you're working with a coach, you have an accountability partner, you've got somebody who's looking at your numbers with you, but we also have a peer group of people, like-minded business owners who are in other industries. They're in similar industries, and they all have expertise in something. And so by becoming a part of this network, you've tapped into a larger group of people. I mean, you have a challenge with something, chances are pretty good that in our network, somebody has already encountered that challenge, and we just need to tap into it and say, okay, this is what this person experienced, or this is what this person found, a tool that they had. So we've got that, you know, we've got a series of coaches here. You know, my content area of expertise is human resources. We've got Andrew, who is a financial expert. We've got Colin, who is operationally focused, Brian, who's leadership. Got a new coach, Jim, who does lean principles. You know, so there's a number of there's a number of strengths within our own organization. You know, so if you said to me, hey, listen, I just don't know that we're really efficient right here. I feel like we're missing the mark. I might say to you, okay, well then let's have a couple of phone calls with Jim. Let's set you up with Jim, and maybe he needs to come down and take a look at your system from front to back. Like, there's things that could happen. We've also got a library of, you know, tools and documents and, you know, things that we've worked on and built over the years that, you know, just as being a part of the group, you get access to.
Yeah.
And I mean,
one
just
thing I've always loved. I've always loved that you can go in and use your library and stuff that another contractor in another part of the country has figured out, and you have access to.
You do.
It's huge.
You do. And people want to share. I mean, I think, you know, we've got our company values. That's the poster behind me. You can't see that, but we've got our company values. We also have Summit values, meaning that the people who are in this peer group, we want them to live and embody a value system, one of which is, you know, collaboration or community. We've got personal development in there. So you're coming into this group of contractors who are absolutely looking to give back to the community. And by that, I mean the peer group. They're giving, I mean, most businesses are also giving back to their own work communities, but they're giving back to the community. So if you needed something, Tamara, from somebody, you could get it, because I know that you're going to be paying it back in a lot of ways. I mean, you have already, right? You've sat on panels when we've had discussions. You've contributed your expertise and knowledge to people who call. Like, you give back. Yeah.
Yep. Everybody gives back. So I want you to go over the rest of your values.
Oh, sure.
So that is, yes, that's always one thing that I was aligned from the very first second. And I would love for you to tell everybody what the values are.
So we've got,
do you have them on the wall? You have them on the wall?
These are our company values.
Okay.
And so this is how we operate. So we've got wisdom, engagement, accountability. I should close my eyes because I know these. I talk about them all the time. Responsiveness, adaptability, wisdom. I said that already. And team. And they're how we operate. And you know, we didn't really talk about the process, but it's one of the first things that we want business owners to really define when they come to us, because, you know, when you are stuck between a rock and a hard place and you don't know what to do with somebody, you want to turn to your values. And is the person or the situation something that works with or counter to your values? So that's what we're doing. In terms of the Summit values, I mentioned so there's personal development, there's collaboration, there's community. Oh my gosh, I'm missing friendship, and I'm missing one. I got them all except for I'm missing one. I'm going to have to find it. Brian's going to kill me. He's going to kill me.
And it's probably one that's like his favorite.
Right. It's probably, well, see, I know what his actual favorite one is. The one that's our business one is engagement. What he wants, he talks about when he comes into the room and he can feel whether people are, you know, and you can feel that. So
I relate.
Yeah.
I relate. So I'm down to the last couple minutes, and I wanted you to close out with the most valuable advice you could give us today. You've been a head coach for a long time, and have been such a resource and value to me. I want to know, what is your most valuable advice you want us to walk away with today?
You know, so that was actually the hardest question for me. So you know, we looked at and discussed the things that would be important for us to talk about here. And a piece of advice, I think there's actually two that I would pass on. The first one is, don't be afraid of making a mistake. I see a lot of business owners who feel like I can't make a decision here because what if I make a mistake? Don't be afraid to make a mistake. If you're not making mistakes in your world, you're not learning. Mistakes are a learning process. A performance issue is when you've got somebody on your team who continues to make the same mistake over and over again. But making mistakes in and of themselves is actually good. And it makes you a richer leader. It makes you a richer person. You are opening yourself up to experiences that you maybe wouldn't be because you are fearful of a mistake. And, you know, I think of that in the business context of, like, you know, what if you were to go into an industry that didn't work for you? Okay, so just ahead of time, let's figure out what the parameters are that would make this not successful. And if we hit that point, we close up shop. You've learned something. Yeah. So don't be afraid to make a mistake. The other thing would be, have SMART goals. So SMART goals are relevant and trackable. So when you say something to an employee, or when you make a commitment to yourself, make it with some deadline in mind, with some tracking. I always say, with personal exercise, if I have a decision to make, I'm not going to make that decision. But if I make a commitment to myself and I say, this is what I am going to do, this is what I'm going to do, and when I'm going to do it, it gets done. So whether you are assigning it to somebody else or it is a personal commitment, make that next step and give yourself both a due date and a trackable goal so that you can stay on track. So don't be afraid of mistakes. Keep track of what you're doing.
Keep track of it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I appreciate your time today, and your knowledge and your collaboration with me. That, you know, a lot of people ask me, how do I get it all done? And it's because I have a lot of smart people around me.
You do. And, you know, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. But I think one of the things that I also admire about you is that you are unafraid to surround yourself by smart people. And I know that you are so open to any kind of coaching. And you know what, that really does make you a dream client. Just saying.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
So
thank you. So I would, how it would, if anybody else listens to this and is interested in talking to you or or Nolan, how would we get a hold of you?
So you can find us at, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook. You can find us at nolancg.com. We also have our own podcast, Out of the Hour podcast. So if you were to search that on any podcast, you could find us there. So yeah.
And how often do they release? How often do they release a podcast?
We do a podcast every week, with the exception of January and February, where we're every other week, just because we don't have a lot of listenership at the beginning of the year. But every week. So, you know, we're doing things like business is messy, or how did they do that, or the sales guys. We've got a couple of different. So I would take a listen.
I love it. I listen to it often.
Good. That's so lovely.
Thank you very much, Kathryn. I appreciate it. And I will see you next time.
Thanks so much, Tamara, for having me. It was a pleasure to do this.
Thank you for joining us on another empowering episode of the Pink Hard Hat Podcast with host Tamara Chase. We hope you'll build a strong foundation for your business with the insights and tips from our episodes. Until next time, stay inspired, stay fierce, and remember, your business is more than a place. It's a reflection of you.